Hello, this is your average Joe talking, and today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. Well, different being something that's it's current events. It's kind of blown up a little bit more or less over social media the last few days. And the article that I'm going to be bringing up is the infamous Bloomberg article about Wall Street's decision and new philosophy regarding Me Too. This has been discussed in length, so I'm going to give a brief overview and the fact that I'm not going to actually read off the article like so many other people have done. If you'd like to read the article yourself, I'm going to go ahead and link it in the video description. However, basically, to summarize in 120 words or less, let's see if I can do this. Wall Street has decided to apply a modified Mike Pence rule in all relationships and all dealings with women in the workplace to include but not limited to meetings, travel, after parties, Christmas parties, social gatherings, and or even inner office environment discussions. That's the summary. That's summarizes the article. Very, very simply. There's other things that it goes in a little bit deeper on, but what I really wanted to talk about was now we're seeing the result of Me Too, the actual result of Me Too. Now that men have essentially been under a Salem witch trial 2.0, now we're seeing the fruits of the feminazis' labor. We're seeing what happens as a result of placing people under a complete... it's an iron cage. It completely and totally, in many men's lives, dominates every aspect of their thoughts. What happens to me if I get falsely accused? Seeing as how due process in this country right now is pretty much being ignored in favor of feelings and whatever feminists call logic. I mean, do they even have a word for that? What I find fascinating about all of this is that there's people out there that actually legitimately do not understand why men are scared. In fact, they call the men that are scared cowards, and oh, well, you're scared because you're probably a rapist or a racist or a sexist. Which it's not from Bloomberg, but it was from another response video I've seen. I don't understand how race got involved in this, but you know what? Go ahead, take your catch-all. Racist, misogynistic, chauvinistic pigs, blah, 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 men are evil, blah, 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 orange man bad, because somehow he's related to this. Anyways, back to the topic on hand. Why are men scared? Here's the thing. Men are not scared of women, which the article very much doesn't understand. Because when it talks about men avoiding women, it acts like every single one of us just suddenly developed this innate phobia of people who have different genitals than us. And, oh dear God, there's a girl. What am I supposed to do? She could Me Too me. That's not how that works. But you know what does work? Watching other men have years of work, years of experience, years and years of goodwill, generosity, and here's the thing is, I'm even going to speak on the behalf of guys that, well, not on the behalf of them, but in reference to men who could be, more or less in that dark gray black area of, they're scumbags, but, even that's a low blow. Harvey Weinstein. But, really it comes down to the fact that there is absolutely no defense for being a man anymore. If a girl right now decided to accuse me of raping her, first of all, I didn't, but that didn't matter. Because hashtag believe women. Okay. So somehow this ends up being posted on social media because that's the best way to get the information out. Because, handling this discreetly is not the way it should be handled. It should be blasted all over the world for everyone to see her and whatever my name is. And then follow it up with the fact that if I had a job at this time, I'm currently going to school, which I'll get to in a moment, I'd lose that instantly because on the grounds of me being accused of sexually assaulting a woman, well, I become a liability, and a business can't have that. And also, like I said, I'm going to school right now. Well, we can't have a rapist in class. He might rape other women. Even though this hasn't gone to court, I am still innocent until proven guilty. There's still due process that has to take place, and there's absolutely no evidence to found these claims. But that doesn't matter. I was accused. So my reputation and my name become basically equivalent to I am Hitler, I am scum, I am a monster, I am absolutely terrible, I'm a horrible person, how could I do such a thing? Like I said, there's no evidence, there's no indication that this actually happened. There's absolutely nothing to show for me doing any of that. By the time it makes it to court, my life has been ruined in every aspect. Not to mention, God forbid, what happens to my close family and friends. And the fact that I would probably have to tell them, you cannot associate with me anymore because I don't want anything to happen to you. Because if you associate with me, now you're associating with a rapist or a falsely accused one. And what happens to people who typically associate themselves with and this is the thing, is even with people who are not actually found guilty of rape, those men and anyone that associates with them are condemned. And people wonder why men are scared. Because the only difference between me and a 70-year-old, or me and a 50-year-old, or me and a 30-year-old is really how much finance do I lose in it? In most cases. That is the terrifying part, especially, and I can understand this for men on Wall Street and the fact that they have so much access to financial power, financial information, they're the finance guys. Are they morally and ethically correct? That's another topic for another video. But to sit here and act as if they are overreacting to the fact that their lives can be ended in an instant, and then they would, whatever life that they have left would be basically purgatory, limbo. You neither exist, you don't live, you don't die, you're just there. And to be completely honest, there's a reason why some of those men usually become very suicidal. It's not because of guilt, typically. And here's the thing, is I'm talking about false accused. I'm not talking about actual rapists. I'm not, when it comes to rape, I think that in terms of actual, if we're talking good and evil in an ethical mindset, morally speaking, that's subjective, and therefore really you cannot discuss that in a term that's like, oh, well, morally speaking, get off your high horse, stop being so goddamn self-righteous, your morals mean about as much as mine, which is shit all. So let's talk ethics. Because ethics is a societal construct, something that we can actually tangibly quantify, hold, and go, well, ethically speaking, this is why your decision's bad. Well, morally speaking, my decision was good. Well, then, like, you're obviously going to be skewed to yourself. But ethically speaking, sexual assault is about the one crime that you can completely and totally justify as it is evil. It is the one actual truly evil thing that you can do. Everything else you can argue with. At some point, there is a time where that crime can be committed under an ethical pretense and be in a gray area. Rape is not one of them. Sexual harassment's not one of them. Sexual assault's not one of them. Those are the three, things that go to hand in hand, like that sexual misconduct, sexual aggression, sexual assault. Those are the kinds of things that are actually ethically evil. Everything else you can subjectively argue under a pretense as it being a possible gray area. Now, the thing is that this is the reason why even the accusation of such acts carries such weight. Because it's considered the one true evil crime. So basically, what happens with these Me Too women is they've hijacked a movement that was initially never about what this nonsense is. It was originally to kind of garner support for younger women in inner cities that didn't have the resources and didn't have the opportunity to actually stand up against the people that raped them or committed a sexual assault against them, or they didn't understand that they'd been sexually assaulted. And that was it. The purpose of it was to help young minority women out in a way that would allow them to essentially stand up for themselves against the men and or women that sexually assaulted them. When Hollywood took it over about a year ago, everyone knew this was going to be a shitstorm. Everyone knew this was going to be an absolute clusterfuck. And to state it very bluntly, the fact that we've made it this far in all of this is a surprise. I'm really actually looking forward to what happens next, because now that men are essentially going MGTOW in a very large way, and or just shutting off from women, or just basically avoiding women at all costs, like I said, MGTOW is about to get a boost because there's a lot more men now that are tired of it. They're tired of the shit. They're tired of they're tired of basically being not only just given a completely shit deal, but also basically being told that you're responsible for it too. And, oh, by the way, God help you if a woman accuses you, because you're done if that happens. Now, am I saying that the accusation of rape should be not taken seriously? No. But it should be treated like all other crimes. And there's a thing in this country that doesn't seem to be understood anymore. It's due process. The process in which a person is innocent until proven guilty. The court is a place in which evidence is compiled, and then, based upon circumstance and evidence, in which the law will then deem an individual guilty or innocent, upon the evidence and circumstance in which it was provided. That is what's called due process. It's an amazing concept that doesn't seem to be understood by the social justice mob that just seems to want to go for heads every time someone says the left isn't right, or you're an NPC, or false accusations should be a crime. Now, I know this is my second video. I apologize for the length of these. I'm not sure if I should make them longer, make them shorter. If I'm rambling on too much, should be more organized or a little bit more freeform. I'd like to hear back from anyone that goes ahead and watches this. And thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you again.